How's it going, folks? Adrian here. Welcome back to the channel. I'm double dipping with a quick news video left over from this past weekend's news drop, so let's get straight to it, starting with anime action MMORPG Blue Protocol. Many in the West are eagerly waiting for news about when this game is going to be coming over, and finally, we are starting to see perhaps the beginning of a Western release. Over the weekend, Bandai Namco put up a job posting for an English candidate to localize game text, UI, cutscene voices, and more. Media outlets like PC Gamer have reached out to Bandai Namco for clarification about a possible English version, but no news about a response at time of recording. For those that haven't heard of Blue Protocol, it's an online action MMO that got a lot of hype when first announced in mid-2019 due to its anime visuals and style, and the game did have a closed alpha in Japan, but there has been no word on an official release date. As always, I'll let you guys know when we have more info. Moving on, developers of upcoming RVR MMORPG Camelot Unchained, which are City State Entertainment, have announced a brand new game called Ragnarok Colossus, or Final Stand Ragnarok, or just Colossus. Showed off on a live stream by studio lead Mark Jacobs, Colossus appears to be an online PvE type game, where players just smash hundreds of mobs and towers, kinda like a third-person MOBA. Now here's the good bit, the game will be given free to all Camelot Unchained backers and is being developed alongside the MMORPG as a testing ground for current and future tech, since most of the systems Colossus uses are related to that of Camelot Unchained. Now the bad bit, I know what you're thinking. Oh no, they've gone and done an Ashes of Creation apocalypse, and let's face it, they have. There wasn't any substantial information during the stream about Camelot Unchained that we didn't already know, and 7 years on since its Kickstarter, we're still nowhere near release, but as a backer myself, I do see their updates and they're working on it, it's not abandoned. Understandably, however, there are backers that are not very happy about this announcement, especially the bit that Colossus could even launch before Camelot Unchained, and the studio will be offering full refunds for anybody who wants out. So, if there's any Camelot Unchained backers watching this video, hey, how do you feel about all this? Let me know in the comments. Most of us outside the region still have not played it, but Japanese MMO Dragon Quest X or DQ10 will have an open beta for a browser version in Japan beginning February 5th. The test aims to help the developers finalize its preparations for the full launch, which will happen later this year. The browser version isn't a new game or a new port, it's actually just streaming DQ10 from the cloud. So that means it will support cross-saves if you already play the MMO. To take part in the beta, you just need a Square Enix account and an HTML5 browser, and maybe a VPN if you're not in the region. You may have seen my recent video about Update 45 coming to Dungeons & Dragons Online, but DDO players have more to look forward to in 2020, in case you missed the game producer's letter that was released last month. The Alchemist class will of course be the first thing to arrive this month alongside 2 epic adventure packs, but in the second half of the year, the MMO will be dropping info about the game's next expansion, which takes adventurers to the Feywild, and it will also introduce the Shifter playable race, which can embrace their bestial aspects to rend enemies and survive. A new level cap is also being talked about and will take it up to level 30 and beyond. Besides that, there's mention of the 64-bit client, which will be awesome for modern machines, on top of shared bank accounts and the second season of the Hardcore League. Let's get to a few more newly announced and upcoming MMOs now, and first up is Saga of LUCIMIA, which is currently in closed alpha. Developer Stormhaven Studios have come out recently to announce a status update which includes a tentative launch date set for the last quarter of next year, 2021. They go on to state that while tentative, they are confident that they will see no changes in the date. The MMO is also on course with its Stage 3 plan and have most of its systems like combat and crafting in place. Additionally, the pre-order store will be back sometime this April, which will welcome more testers into the fold. If it's your first time hearing about it, Saga of LUCIMIA is a classic-style, group-focused fantasy MMO that promises a tabletop-like RPG experience where skill matters above everything else. Check out the FAQ in the pinned comment. As for those who want a new fully open PvP MMO to flex your ganks and pawn some noobs, then you should keep an eye on Profane. Profane is being made by Brazilian studio Insane, and it puts players in a medieval fantasy setting where you can let your sandbox imagination spur you on. With no classes available, you'll build your character with a host of skills and magical abilities, and go be a pirate or sell sword for merchants, that kind of thing. There's a karma system for PK in place, so that means some areas will be guarded against PvP. The game aims to have an alpha late this year that has a buy-to-play price if you want in, but it will be fully free to play at launch sometime next year with a cash shop that only sells cosmetics with no pay to win apparently. And finally, let's wrap this up with a piece or two from the mobile world, and up first is an MMORPG called GRAN SAGA from developers nPixel. The studio has recently shared its first gameplay trailer, which you're watching right now courtesy of MMO Culture, featuring anime visuals, which is pretty popular these days, and some in-game rendered combat, and the fact that it runs on Unreal Engine 4. The interesting thing about GRAN SAGA is that it's designed for crossplay, and players will be able to play it on both PC and mobile phones, whichever they prefer. Not much is known about the gameplay or mechanics except for the bit that you'll mostly focus on developing your weapons instead of characters and classes in what media outlets are calling a weapon card collection system, which does sound pretty different. And the final bit of news come from the Summoner's War franchise. South Korean studio Come To Us have given its Summoner's War MMO project a finalized name, and it's called Summoner's War Chronicle, and it will launch globally this year. Summoner's War is very popular in my part of the world, and when they announced that a full MMORPG for mobiles set in the same IP was being developed back in 2017, there was excitement, but the years since haven't shown us any progress or updates. Well, we now know that the game is set 70 years before the storyline in Summoner's War Sky Arena, and players can select from 3 distinctive characters and enter real-time battles with up to 3 summon monsters per character. Expect both PvE-like dungeons and raids on top of PvP when this launches. That's all I've got for now, folks. Have a good week ahead. If there's anything else happening in the MMOs that you play or have news tips, hey, do share it with us down in the comments. Hit the like button for more on MMOs, and feel free to subscribe to the channel so you'll never miss a news drop. Once again, I'm Adrian, and I thank you for watching.